Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Alt Kings podcast. I'm your host, Tate, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with another meme coin, Sauci Inu. How you doing today, man?
Oh, I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for bringing me on. I'm very excited to talk about Sauci Inu and kind of what we've been doing.
Very exciting. Very happy to have you here, and I look forward to, diving deeper into this project as a whole. I mean, we've seen it, circulating around Hedera's ecosystem for quite some time now. I mean, you guys have gained some traction, and I'd love to, share a little bit of detail before we dive deeper into it. So, from my understanding, Sauci Inu is a meme coin. It's a retail token plus NFTs plus a liquidity pool plus DeFi, deflationary, as well as revenue sharing, all wrapped into one project. You've done over 40,000% since the launch of your project within the token itself. And those are some pretty interesting numbers, very big numbers. Definitely if you were an early adopter of this token, investing into it from the get-go. And, there's just been a lot going on within your ecosystem as a whole. And so my first question to you now is, what is Sauci Inu and who is behind this project?
Yeah, no, thank you. That's a very important question. So I guess the biggest thing is, how did we come about? And then I'll answer, who I am and kind of who the founders are.
Sure.
So, we wouldn't be here without SauceSwap. So Sauci Inu. So first of all, we have no affiliation with SauceSwap. We love them to death, but we are not officially affiliated with SauceSwap. But it's my opinion that SauceSwap is the best DEX right now in the entirety of crypto. And I can base that off of facts. I really truly believe that it's the best DEX out there. I guess to tell you a little story about how Sauci Inu came about. It's actually this project was actually started by somebody else. So there was a person who created kind of a fan club called Sauci Inu originally several months back, and it looked like it was gaining some traction and it had the kind of the similar imagery, but unfortunately it kind of imploded. The founders kind of went away and nothing really came about it. And, I waited a few months because I was really excited because I love SauceSwap. And I thought it was a great idea to make kind of a fan club to kind of help promote them and do that kind of stuff. And after a while, nobody, they didn't recreate it or anything. And I was like, well, why don't I just go ahead and do it? I have some experience, which I could talk about later in the crypto sphere. Why don't I go ahead and, put my, ingenuity together and, make a meme token that kind of, can kind of represent SauceSwap in a way. But again, we don't have any affiliation. So that's how it kind of started. It was kind of, I liked the idea and I wanted to continue it. And so, I personally think that mimicry is a form of flattery, and that, a lot of our imagery and what we're doing kind of mimics SauceSwap. And it's because we just, love them. If I could just talk about SauceSwap for a second, they have, they have the fastest confirmation time, and a lot of this is because of Hedera itself, but a lot of it's because of SauceSwap. Yeah, they have the fastest confirmation time of any DEX out there, bar none. I mean, it's faster than any other major DEX. They have a great GUI interface and all these things, and I just love all their features. That's kind of where I love. I could see the future. And I said, well, heck, this is going to be the number one DEX in the future. Just looking at them, but the problem is that it doesn't have enough traction right now. It's not as popular as it should be. And I said, well, why not, use this, this meme token, this project, and kind of build up kind of a following and try to hype up SauceSwap to cross-chain and to other things. That's kind of our mission. We wanted to kind of spread the love and word of SauceSwap. And another thing is, there's a big issue right now on Hedera, which I kind of made it a secondary mission of mine. It's kind of, there's just so much FUD surrounding Hedera right now. And I think that being critical of projects is a great idea, but it's almost so bad right now that starting this project was very difficult. Just some of the stuff that people were saying was really difficult, even though I really didn't do anything, and so I kind of made a second mission of mine to kind of spread some love on Hedera, represent some projects that aren't getting enough attention other than SauceSwap. I have to shout out Gilmore. I think Gilmore, what he's doing with real estate NFTs is just fantastic. And Nuber, I recently shouted out Nuber. He has a great DEX tool. And so it's kind of been a secondary mission of mine to kind of spread some love and on Hedera. And so that was kind of the main reason how SauceInu came to be and kind of what we're standing for. And I guess the next question you asked was, I believe you asked, who I am or who the founder are. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And so I could just answer that. I made a Twitter post because I do want to remain anonymous, which I've been kind of straightforward about. I made a kind of a long paper, kind of writing who I am and kind of who the other two core members are. But just a little bit about me is I came from Ethereum. I'm kind of a long-term Bitcoin investor, a very long time. And I got into Bitcoin, not super early, but early enough. And I kind of, learned about crypto through Bitcoin. And then I got into Ethereum. And on Ethereum, I made a pretty popular meme token, and actually a few of them. But, one was, actually really popular. And, I kind of, learned a lot doing that. And I loved Ethereum. But I mean, it has so many problems. I mean, the gas fees, I just remember, paying for, buying something for $20 and spending, like $20 on the gas fees. I mean, it's
terrible.
It's completely insane. And I got wind of this, I was looking at other projects once I became kind of successful on Ethereum, and I was like, oh man, what are these projects? And I got into Algorand, which I think Algorand is a great, algorithm itself, or cryptocurrency type. Can't think of the word, but it has a good function itself. But man, I got wind of Hedera, and I just kind of got wind of how the fees structures work, how it works as a DLT, which I could talk about that. And I don't know if you want me to talk about all that kind of stuff. But anyways, what's that?
I said, no worries. It's all right. I feel as if majority of people who are here, interested in this token have, a strong familiarity with how Hedera works and how the Hashcraft technology also underlying Hedera's, ecosystem works as well. So there's no reason to really dive into that. But, what I had to say from what you've already mentioned, it's nice to see that what you're trying to do with this meme token is to spread more awareness to Hedera as a whole, as well as SauceSwap, although you might not necessarily be affiliated with it. I do think, SauceSwap is one of those dexes, is, arguably the best dex in all of crypto, like you mentioned as well, and I can attest to that also. And I think a big reason, a part of that is, their UI and UX also align very seamlessly and damn near pinpoint perfect with how they lay out everything and how everything's, formatted for their platform as a whole. But they also are, once again, on Hedera Hashcraft's network, using Hedera's network. And that alone really does a lot for any sort of DEX trying to compete with, say, chains like Ethereum, Solana, and other various chains who might not necessarily have those efficient transaction times and costs per transaction, which I feel as if those play a big part in why SauceSwap is, arguably one of the best DEX in all of crypto.
Absolutely. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
Amazing. And so we have now a little bit of an understanding of, what is Sauci Inu and who's behind the project. I'm curious to know now is what makes this meme token different than any other meme token that exists to date? Like, what is the main objective behind this meme token besides, funneling more exposure back to Hedera as well as SauceSwap without being affiliated?
Yeah. So we are a meme token, as in you're kind of have funny imagery and what have you.
Yeah, of course.
We're doing some stuff that I think is pretty important. I think the best way to open this up is to kind of explain our token and token structure. If that's all right with you.
Yeah, it's great. We can start there.
Yeah, so I would open it up with SafeMoon. I think SafeMoon had a pretty interesting structure. It was a rug, but the token itself was it had an interesting token structure. And what they did was they took royalties on token transactions. They applied a sell pressure, their own self-defined sell pressure. They took half of those royalties, they burned them, and they took about a fourth of those royalties, and they sold against their own cryptocurrency, and then created a pair like maybe USD or so, and then kept another fourth, and they paired that fourth and that other fourth that was sold together, and that was created into a liquidity pool. And so it's kind of an interesting mechanic where you're both creating liquidity at the same time that you're burning tokens, right? But there's kind of a fundamental problem with it. And the fundamental problem is that you're applying sell pressure constantly to your token. So what that means is you're constantly having to sell against your token. Now, the idea with SauceInu was that there's going to be an external source of royalties instead of the token itself. So there's no royalties on the actual token of SauceInu. So there's royalties on our NFTs, and so we've actually had a pretty successful NFT so far. We just announced our second launch of our NFTs today. So it's actually one of the more popular token NFTs on Hedera right now. And so what happens is, yeah. So I'm very excited about that. And there was a lot of mechanics behind how I developed the NFT and why the price went up so much. But anyways, the NFTs, every time they're bought and sold, which they should be bought and sold pretty frequently, and as we've seen they are, you develop a royalty on them. And that royalty is then applied directly to buybacks and liquidity. And so there's no internal source of sell pressure in the token itself. And so essentially, we created a deflationary token through external source of revenue, which is something that I don't think has ever been done on any other cryptocurrency ever, except no, I don't believe there is, from my understanding. And so what this means is that every time somebody buys or sells an NFT, we buy back a certain portion of tokens, right? That portion of tokens can either be applied to liquidity without sell pressure, or it can be applied to burning. And for the first 6 months or so, we kind of are kind of doing it manually because we're trying to do other things that we can talk about later, like apply for sexes and stuff, like central exchanges. But essentially, there's a constant buy pressure that's being applied to this token through external revenue, which makes the token extremely deflationary because we're also burning a large percentage of that. So we've currently burned about $50,000 worth of money, or 6% of our total supply, and that's gonna continue. And I don't believe that kind of burning has ever happened on Hedera, to my knowledge.
I don't think so either. Where's this external revenue coming from, by chance, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so we have a few things developed, right? So we have our first flagship NFT. So our flagship NFT is kind of our utility NFT. So there's a lot of things planned for it. There's only 350 of them. They sold out within 45 seconds on CentX. And they were initially priced at 350 HBARs, but they were valued at over 2,000 HBARs at the time of sell because I wanted to have everyone have the opportunity to buy it. But this NFT, over the next 5 months, while we're doing some manual stuff, we're going to be doing a airdrop to all NFT holders of a percentage of 5 billion tokens, right? And so this percentage of 5 billion tokens will be distributed over a 20-week period, so 4 weeks in a month over 5 months. Now, what happens traditionally is that every time there's a distribution for any kind of rev share NFT, there is a quick sell-off right after. And so this is applying a quick sell-off of the NFT itself. People don't like to hold on to anything in crypto. And so every time there's a distribution, there's also there's a buying and selling of these NFTs on the markets. And so this distribution pattern of 20 weeks allows for a large amount of buying and selling, which helps to develop revenue for the token, which will go to burns, buybacks, liquidity, and other important things. So that's kind of a very interesting. I've never seen this kind of structure ever done on any token. Now, additionally, we could have. So our first NFT sold out in 45 seconds. They're massively popular, and we could have sold a whole nother set of NFTs. We just announced our next NFTs, right? But instead of selling them, which I don't know, I feel like when founders get too greedy, people could see that, and I don't want to be seen as greedy. And I feel like making a profit off of something that's kind of mimicking SauceSwap is kind of not good, right? And so I want to bring stuff back to the community. And so what I did was I'm airdropping the next set of NFTs to flagship NFT holders. So they're going to be getting all the NFTs for free, and then the market will decide the prices. And there's some pretty cool. Yeah. It's a very interesting mechanism, right? And so that's going to be on Thursday of this week. And so this is something else that's never been done before, and I think it just kind of shows the spirit of who we are and what we're trying to do. We're not trying to make a bunch of money here or make a bunch of profit. We're trying to really give back to the community and really have a lot of fun. And the actual second set of NFTs are actually I love this idea. We created NFTs of the core team of SauceSwap. And
Wow.
we kind of put funny tidbits about them, and that's going to be the NFTs, and I think they're going to appreciate it.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I think majority of the revenue that you're speaking about is coming from the sale of these NFTs, as well as the royalties that are funneled back through from the NFTs being sold on secondary. Correct?
Yeah, that's a large percentage of it, but we do have some really interesting plans in the future that I can't just reveal yet, that we're going to have some streams of revenue.
Yeah, nice. And so you sold out the first collection of 350. The second collection that's releasing on this coming Thursday is a collection of how many, by chance?
Yeah, so this is so the way we created this, I have to preface it this way because this is also I wanted a certain characteristic to these NFTs. So it's a collection of 600, but within that 600, there's 8 members of the core SauceSwap team that we created NFTs of. And, Galise, which is the, co-founder of SauceSwap, he only has 35 minted NFTs total. And another person, I believe Noob, only has 120, which is the larger amount. And so, in this 800 or so, 600 NFTs, there's different characters, 8 characters that each have their own specialized description and specialized quote and mint amount, varying between 35 and 120. Yeah, and we had to do some special stuff special coding for it, but it looks really good. Kimchi, my favorite one is Kimchi, which I love Kimchi. She, I don't want to say she. They're like one of my favorite, favorite members of the SauceSwap team, and I made theirs because they're bilingual in Japanese and Korean. I made their NFT entirely in Japanese, which took some interesting coding. So
that's incredible.
So,
besides the NFTs being used to funnel revenue back into the SauciInu token, how else will these NFTs be utilized within the ecosystem as a whole?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. And oh man, I wish I could tell you. There's two things that we have planned. We are a meme token, and we do have some memes, but we do have some really cool utilities planned. Particularly for the set that we're about to release on Thursday. If you're able to collect all 8, there's a really cool feature that we're going to be announcing. But I can't do it yet. But it has a real world utility, a monetary utility. Yeah. And our flagship NFTs, we plan to give them free NFTs every single time we mint NFTs from now on. Instead of selling them, we plan to distribute it to the NFT holders. And so that's kind of the main mechanism. But there is also a plan for the flagship to also have some really big real world utility that's desperately needed on Hedera, and that's some coding that's going to take me a little while to complete and put on our website. But yeah, I'm very excited to talk about that later, but I can't talk about it yet because it's too much.
We'll host you again down the line once more, more details are established and you're ready to, speak more in detail about that specifically. Will these holders of these, the flagship NFT as well as the Gen 2 of this collection that you're releasing, will they be, receiving any Sauci Inu as a whole, or is that out of the picture?
Yeah, so our flagship NFT holders for the next 5 months, we already gave them one airdrop, but there's going to be 20 airdrops total. So there's 19 airdrops left, and the reason why we did it in 19 is because every time there's a sell, there's usually a sell after an airdrop, and so it adds to the volatility of the NFT, which gives us more revenue to buy back Sauci Inu. So for the flagship NFT holders, for the next 5 months will be receiving Sauci Inu, and then after that 5-month period, we're going to be taking royalties instead of doing half burning in the half liquidity pool. We're going to be doing half rev share. So half of the royalties on the people that sell the NFTs will go to the actual NFT flagship holders, and then the other half will go to burn and liquidity. And so there's a 5-month period where we're able to do a whole lot, and then afterwards we're going to cut it back in half, and then still apply burns and what have you, but to a lesser degree.
Nice. So I know we kind of spoken about the locking of the tokens. I don't think you mentioned how long these tokens will be locked for. I saw that they'll be locked for 99 years, and I'm just curious, why so long? And is it mainly for, the 99 years specifically, so they'll never more or less be in existence ever again? Or what is, the thought process behind locking it for 99 years? Is that like the highest you could go, or what is exactly it?
So it's actually kind of a funny joke because I was thinking about locking out for 9,99999 years.
Nice.
But it's actually funnier to do it for 99 years because people start saying, "Oh, they're going to rug pull in 99 years."
I'll be around in 99 years, but yeah, who knows? We'll have to wait until then.
Exactly. So I'll just say, first of all, Da Vinci Graph, he's doing great things. Him and his team, Psycho Rider, they're doing really wonderful things right now. They actually made a burn feature now, so there's no ability to remove liquidity after a certain period of time. So that wasn't around whenever we were created Sauci Inu, and so we would have used that for sure. But currently, we just kind of locked it up for 99 years because it's essentially burned, right? You can't pull it out for 99 years, so it's essentially burned. So in my mind, it's burned, but we could extend it for another 200 years or so. Like so, like pull 300 years or so.
Yeah, but that's what you're aiming for. It's more or less forever.
Yeah, exactly. I don't expect this token to last over 100 years, but who knows?
Yeah, that's a great question. Who knows, really? So I also saw that, you're planning on, providing some sort of rev share back, and it was 5% total. And I'm curious to know, what is that 5% coming from by chance?
Yeah, that's awesome. So that was kind of what I was talking about earlier. So that's going to the flagship NFT holders.
Gotcha.
So I held so whenever I first made SauceInu, I kind of had these plans for rev share, for volatility of NFTs and how to get this actually took a lot of planning. The entire token. It's very easy to to make a token, but it's kind of hard to plan it. There's a lot of features. So this is an Inu, for instance, and there's a kind of a quirk where if you just make a token with 1,000 zeros, the API on Saucer Swap or on Hashpack won't actually pick up the value. So there's actually been a few tokens that put a bunch of zeros and you can't actually tell what the value is because it's less than one.
It only picks up like 4 or 5 zeros, I think, on Hashpack.
Correct. And so that was that. I did the minimum amount that I could while it's still registered as one tiny bar, which is the. And so it took a lot of planning, how much the initial liquidity pool would be, and all that, and also how to do the rev share, how to do all these things. And so one of the things that I planned whenever I first created the token was that I wanted to have a part about 5% locked away just to give to the flagship NFT holders. Distributed over 5 months, so that way we can have our initial burn and really start the token really well off, right? And so that was kind of always a part of the plan, and it seems to be working extremely well. I'm actually very impressed with how the community's been acting and everything, and so that was kind of the initial plan. So 5% has been locked away, and I've already started distributing last week, and there's going to be a distribution this week. And so that's kind of how the rev share worked. It was just held initially.
Nice. So, I mean, we've learned a lot today about Sauci Inu. We kind of have, an understanding of where you're headed in the near future. And what I'm curious to know now, it's kind of more or less my final question. And if there's anything else you'd like to add on top of this, by all means. But really, we know the short-term goals. We know kind of where you're headed. What are the long-term vision for Sauci Inu? Where do you see yourself, say, a year, 2, maybe 5 years from now, if you think it'll still be existing until then?
Yeah. And so this is a great question. And it kind of, what I would, challenge you to do is think about where Hedera is going to go. And because of where Hedera is going to go, where is, SaucerSwap going to go? And I think that leads you to the question of where we're going to go. So I'm very bullish on Hedera. I think it's the future of cryptocurrency. I think that it's going to have mainstream adoption. There's an issue on there's an issue on Hedera where people think that corporate will come first and then retail will come. But if you look in the grand scheme of things, corporate is only going to follow where retail is. They're looking for customers. Visa isn't going to go to Hedera with only a few million people that are actively trading. They're going to go to Ethereum, even if Ethereum has, terrible gas fees. That's what the people are. And so what I envision is that I'm going to try to bring retail to Hedera, bring as many people from Asia, as many people. That's where we're targeting. I sent you kind of an alpha.
You did.
But, yeah. We're trying to target those countries because they have capital and they're trying to invest, but it's very hard for them to invest in Ethereum where there's high gas fees. So we're trying to target those groups. We're trying to bring people into retail in Hedera where there's low gas fees. And once people come, that's when corporate comes. And I think that a lot of fun on Hedera is talking about, these right now, the corporate that's on Hedera is usually niche projects like Adama. Adama is probably, they're great. Don't get me wrong, they're great, but they're targeting a niche group of people on Hedera. And that's kind of where we're at right now. My vision for Sauci Inu is I'm going to try to bring as many people here to Hedera, to as many people to try to touch the exchange of SaucerSwap. And when they touch it, they're going to be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is what happened to me. I couldn't believe myself that I used to pay these fees. I wait these times, make these terrible trades. And that happened to me, and I came here and I fell in love with it. And I think that if we spread, the love that we're showing in our community, we have the best community. I can't stress enough, our Discord and our Twitter. We have so much love for people, and people coming into our community seeing this love and then trying Saucer Swap, I think it's going to be great. There's not as much FUD as everywhere else on Hedera. And so my vision is that we can, become this community where we kind of onboard people onto Hedera, onboard them to Saucer Swap. And then over time, Hedera is going to get mainstream adoption, corporate's going to come, and then, Saucer Swap is going to go to the roof. It's gonna go crazy, and people won't believe that one sauce is going to be $10. I know it sounds crazy, but I truly believe it. And SauceInu is locked to Saucer Swap. We're locked to Sauce. So if they go up, we go up. It's kind of how I feel. And so my long-term visions for SauceInu is bullish, because I'm bullish on Saucer Swap, because I'm bullish on Hedera. I'm here for the long term. I'm not going to go into any other projects. I might help some people out. There's a few people that want some help with their NFT projects, and I would love to help them out with that. But my long-term goals are right here. Promoting Saucer Swap, promoting Hedera, and bringing that retail adoption. So that's my yeah.
I look forward to seeing how it plays out, and I'll tell you what, I'll be here for that long-term vision, as well as seeing how SauceInu as well as Saucer Swap, although they might not be affiliated, make sure to point to that. You see how both projects play out long-term, because I plan on staying for the next 10 to 20 years, even further than that. But it'll be very exciting once we start to see more adoption within the space as a whole, and to see more and more people start to onboard. And, hopefully, fingers crossed, people's bags start to, reciprocate the amount of onboarding that is being, followed up by. But, on that note, if there's any closing thoughts that you'd have to end off this podcast, now would be the time to say them. But I appreciate you taking the time once again today, and I look forward to seeing what comes of SauceInu within this near future.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. I think the only thing I just want to end on is that, I'm just so thankful for our community and everyone who's really helped support me. And, I just love all y'all. And, I'm just really happy to be here and work towards a better Hedera. So thank you so much.
I appreciate your time once again. And ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this podcast with SauceInu. And if you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next episode. Peace.